Disclaimer. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. And now...
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ben and Amy on The Heavy Truth.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Amy.
I'm Ben.
Welcome to another episode of The Heavy Truth.
Yes, another episode. How are you?
I'm great. This topic today makes me feel a little sleepy. What are we talking about today?
The connection between sleep and obesity. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a connection?
Huge connection.
Huh? Pun intended?
Yeah. I feel...
Oh, Lord. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more serious than people believe.
Yeah. Do you like to sleep? Are you a napper?
I am so not a napper.
Me either.
And I'll tell you why I'm not a napper.
Why?
Because I wake up crabby.
So, Mike, does Amy always wake up like a breath of fresh air and smiling sunshine every morning? Oh, okay. Well, happy marriage is a quiet marriage.
You know what? He's not being honest right now. In the morning, there's no issue in the morning. Do you want to clarify, Mike?
In the morning, she's fine. It's the post-nap wake-up that's not great for anybody.
And when's the last time I've napped?
A year? More?
Or more.
Yeah.
When I'm sick, maybe. Because I just don't, I feel like, number one, I'm wasting away the day. And number two, I don't want to wake up once I'm napping.
Yeah.
And I get it, for the most part, I feel as though I get a decent night's sleep. Like I wake up rested. I wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I can't go back, but I don't feel as though my sleep is lacking. But when I want to go to bed, I want to go to bed. That's another thing. What about you?
I am not a napper. I never have been a napper. I sleep well. I mean, many years ago, I was diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. And as our listeners know, some of it may have been due to my weight at the time, right? But now that I've lost, several 100 pounds, I did have a sleep study within the last few months. And I still have sleep apnea, but all my machine numbers are like next to nothing, right? At this point, I'll have another sleep study and then hopefully get rid of them. But I sleep well. I don't snore anymore and things like that. Yeah, I'm not a napper. I'm a night owl, so I like to stay up. But I'm also that person. Like my father was the kind of person that could be out till 2:00 in the morning, come home, sleep for 2 hours, and he'd be bright and chipper in the morning. My mother would always say, "Oh, I hate that about you," because she's not the friendliest in the morning. And I'm sure my husband would say otherwise about me as well. But I'm that person too. Like, I don't need to get out of bed, and we're not going to have a whole conversation. And how are things? I have to get up. I have things I got to do. I got to get to work. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like you get your crankiness out on me in the morning before work, since we talk most mornings.
Well, I mean, there's always a reason, right? I'm sure.
If you had your Starbies first.
Yes, absolutely. You have to
that's
have
why
my
I say, have you gotten your
Starbies.
Starbies yet? You're
But
like,
it doesn't
no,
do-
Amy,
right.
I'm on my way there.
I'm on my way. Hello. Yeah, my mom always says, oh, I feel so sorry for your 8:00 patients. I'm like, why? I've had time to leave here without any of you, drive in the car, get my Starbucks, and get to work. It's good. I've had that time to myself.
And
right?
complain to Amy.
Complain to Amy about.
Make fun of her about something.
Yeah, well, there's usually something. Yes.
But by the time we're done chatting in the morning, you're great.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah. Like there's no issues. Yeah. But, you know, with that being said, I mean, sleeping is super important to weight, and there's a link to obesity. There is a study published in 2019. I don't know if you've ever heard of this or read it, but that revealed that for every hour of sleep we miss out, below the recommended 7 hours, the risk of obesity goes up by 9%.
That's interesting.
So when I have patients that come in and they tell me that, or they're reporting that they sleep 4 to 5 hours a night, there's no question that that is helping or inhibiting, I should say, weight loss. You know, and it's causing weight gain for sure. And people they're like, what? No, like that's not it. I've never been a sleeper.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I think we were talking about this earlier today that, on average, I'll see, we use an intake form, right? It's kind of a little questionnaire and the patients fill out, and we'll discuss things as we go through it. But I always see, you know, average amount of sleep. They're like 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, you know, and when we discuss that, there's always, you know, work, or I'm just not a sleeper, or I have insomnia issues, or, you know, something. Yeah.
and there's definitely, though, you know, someone may have been a sleeper, and I'm talking more specifically about females right now because I can relate to that. But
Being a female.
yep, hormonal changes definitely can cause issues with sleep. But I mean, if somebody has always been a decent sleeper and then all of a sudden, you know, they're 45, 50, 55 and they're having insomnia issues, well, that can be, you know, hormonally based for females.
Say that again. Hormonally based?
Hormonally based. But there are two important hormones that regulate sleep, and that's melatonin and cortisol. So I always say to patients, if you're not sleeping, then your cortisol levels are going up, which when your cortisol goes up, then you gain weight because it holds on to fat and causes even insulin dysregulation. And again, it's always with just obesity in general, it's a domino effect. If something is off, something else is causing that, and then something else is going to cause something else, and so you're constantly on this hamster wheel of finding something new that could be the cause. Hence, why it's multifactorial in treatment.
Right. No, I agree. You know, yeah, and we do talk about those. You know, there's, like you said, but sleep goes hand in hand with a lot of things, right? You know, like a low vitamin D can affect sleep, right?
Yes.
And then we talk to our patients, and some of them will report, like, how many times you get up in the middle of the night to eat, right? And, you know, that I would say a lot of them, more than half of them will report at least once or twice a week. You know,
Of getting up to eat.
Get up in the middle of the night to eat something.
And why do you think that is? Why are people getting up? I feel as though it's habitual.
I agree. Some of it can be habitual, and it might go back to that food noise that we talked about, right? In a couple episodes, that people are thinking about eating. They'll get up to go to the bathroom and think, oh, I have to, oh, there's that cake, there's that whatever, there's, you know, and so, yeah, I do agree.
Or maybe it's a thing of they've eaten, you know, maybe a high carb snack before dinner.
And so they are hungry.
And then their sugar crashes.
Yeah.
And then they're hungry. So they're like, I better eat something.
No, I agree.
It was pretty telling. I did wear a continuous glucose monitor a couple times just to see how what I ate affected my sugar control. And I did notice, and specifically at night, if I were to have something that was more carb-based versus having just protein right before dinner, I would wake up more hungry, or I would wake up with a headache because my blood sugars were lower.
That makes sense. I think you and I discussed that headache thing, and we had talked about, you know, blood sugar levels and things like that. I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I automatically go to think that, oh, maybe it's my blood pressure, which I had higher blood pressure when I was heavier, and hasn't been an issue for quite some time now. Every once in a while, my blood pressure will creep up, and then on times that it's not, I'm like, I guarantee my sugar's going low or it is super low. Well, people don't realize, what some symptoms they're experiencing. It could be, it's different things.
Right. Right.
So,
No, that makes complete sense. And what did you do then to make sure that was kind of corrected or to balance the blood sugar out for yourself? Did you cut back on the carbs or at dinner or snacks that were later in the evening, or?
maybe I wouldn't have as big of a bowl of cereal before bed. I do like cereal before bed sometimes. And it's not a full bowl of cereal. Maybe it's a half a cup or something like that. Whereas,
A serving size?
well, yeah, but bowls now are huge, right? So, I mean,
Are you not weighing and measuring your cereal? Like looking on the nutrition label and if it says a cup and a half, putting a cup and a half?
well,
in the-
cup and a half is not a serving size.
It depends on the cereal.
3/4 of a cup
Depends
to
on
a
the
cup
cereal.
of the ones that I eat.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Depends on the cereal.
Yeah, so I know what that looks like in a bowl because I have
Yeah.
measured it or weighed it at some point.
What kind of cereal?
Oh,
No, I've already asked. Now you got
Yeah.
to tell.
so
Our listeners would like to know, Amy.
there's a couple ones that I really
Yeah.
like. I like frosted mini wheats.
I like those.
I like Raisin Bran.
Okay.
Okay,
Good
and
brand levels give a good poop.
that just doesn't work that
Okay,
way. I
yeah.
wish, but no, it doesn't. And then the guiltiest pleasure. Ready for it?
Yeah.
Peanut butter crunch.
Really?
Love it.
Is that the Captain Crunch one?
Yes.
Yeah. I like Captain Crunch. It has to be with the berries.
Oh,
I like that.
okay. Yeah, no. So, I mean, again, yes, I eat anything in moderation.
Same.
And that's really what we try to teach everyone. But, yeah, and also,
So did you tell when you were wearing this glucose monitor, like if you said you had something that was higher in carbs, higher in sugars, then you would have that crash and then that would either wake you up because you were hungry or in the morning you realized there was at the same time that there was a headache because your sugar was low and things
yes.
like that. Okay.
Yeah. And I see like a major spike after, about a half hour after eating that. So it's just kind of cool, right? But then I would play around with it. All right, well, if I have this cereal, but then I also have, let's say, a half of a cheese stick with it, you don't have as much of a spike as you would have not having the cheese stick with the cereal because you have the protein in there.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I've always teach protein and produce because you will not see as much of a spike.
Smart, yeah. And as bedside nurses, if you remember, like when we had patients that were diabetic, we would always give an HS snack or a bedtime snack
Yes.
because you didn't want to have that blood sugar drop overnight.
Right. But what were they serving at that time?
Yeah, but right. Let's throw that back to right. So I remember it was
Graham crackers.
graham crack or
And milk.
or patients could have half a peanut. Lorna Doones, yes, half a peanut butter sandwich.
Yes.
And
Like on white bread.
on white bread, or no, the cheese was fine. Some cheese and some fruit, which that was fine.
Like a cheese and an apple.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like a decent snack. But
Yeah.
then I'd see graham crackers and milk, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't know as much as I knew now about
Yeah.
nutrition and
Because you were a
sugar.
baby nurse.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, an HS snack. I remember that.
HS
No, it's so
snack.
funny. That's dating us for sure. Because now they're more nutrition aware.
Yes.
Nutritionally aware.
Nutritionally aware.
Yeah, for sure.
So back to the sleep. Do you think, what do you think interferes with people's sleep? That people are having these episodes of we're not sleeping enough. Do you think it's just because other issues? People are stressed. You can't shut off that brain noise. How we sleep? Are we comfortable? Room temperature? Does that all play into that effect? So you're not getting that sleep, and then
Oh, I completely agree with that for sure. And I'm one who I try to solve the world's problems at night,
and world peace.
right? And nothing happens. I just sit there and fixate on it. So that's on me. I do notice when I exercise at night or do stretching or breathing, like exercises at night, which I have done. It helps me sleep. But I go to bed 10-ish. My alarm goes off at 5:15, and I'm up and like I'm good to go. Whereas other people, maybe don't need to go to bed till midnight and get up at 6 or 7 or 6 and they're still fine. But everybody's different. As long as we have that decent amount of REM sleep,
Yeah.
that's going to be okay. But the 4 to 5 hours, that's not working, so that we need to work on those things. And some of the quality of sleep, like you said, having a decent mattress, sleeping in a cooler room, having some exercise or stretching or meditation prior to sleeping. Sometimes my patients will complain that, well, I sleep good, but, they're young parents and they have kids coming in 2-3 times a night, which is disrupting their sleep.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that happen that may be out of your control, but you have to find ways to improve your sleep hygiene, as we call it.
For sure. Yeah. I 100% agree. So are you wearing those, button up flannel pajamas, Amy, and, covered up with 4 blankets and have your socks on and the whole bit?
You should not be sleeping in that type of warm clothing. Like your body needs to be cooled off. I do have a heating blanket, although turn it off halfway through the night, and our room is very cold at night. What about you? It's cold.
It's cold. Yes. I've always been of the mindset that it's easier to put blankets on if I'm cold. But my husband laughs because I am the person that is air, if it's summer, air is on, and fan is blowing in the room, things like that. Even now, right, with it being winter, well, it's spring now, but it did snow. So, same. It's still, the heat is on to a point, but, I always have a fan blowing. He likes to say it's because of the white noise. I like to feel the air circulating in the room, but I want to be comfortable when I sleep. I don't like to sleep. I don't want to have to sweat when I'm sleeping.
No.
It's not pretty. It's not nice. I don't like that.
No. We don't want any of that. And, there are some ways to improve sleep. I mean, I tell my patients that, like I said, relaxation, stretching, meditation even, which I've never gotten into. I know it really can help people, but doing yoga, journaling is a big one. So I have a good
Dear
tip.
diary, I'm in my bedroom. I just ate my HS snack.
So I'm gonna give a call out to Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. She is.
Is she a friend of the pod?
She is a friend of the pod. She's a listener of the pod.
Well, thanks, Debbie, for listening to the pod. And here's your shout out. What are we shouting out to Debbie?
So Debbie is a nurse practitioner in integrative medicine.
Oh,
so
yes.
She's one
What
of
does
those.
integrative medicine mean?
So it's more of a holistic.
If you say it integrates all the medicine, I'm done with you.
It's more of a holistic approach.
Okay.
They work on meditation and self-care.
Picture yourself walking down the hill
Yes.
towards the lake.
Kind of. Yes, absolutely. And
Now I feel like if I was walking down the hill towards the lake, I'd be scared I'd fall in the lake. So then I'm worried and I don't want to go to sleep. I'm joking.
and it's, I mean, I wasn't a true believer until I went and saw what they do. And, but she's got a very calming aura. And I was talking to her about, how can I help my patients and even me, feel like I don't need to solve the world's problems at night and think about everything when I go to sleep. And
So shut off that mind chatter that we think about.
absolutely. Yeah. Your mind racing constantly.
What
right?
do I have to do?
Yeah. So
So you basically make a list for Mike of what he's got to do and worry about. So then you're done.
well, not really. So this, I call it, and I don't remember what she told me it was, but called a thought dump. Okay.
THOT? Thought. No,
Thought.
not that. Okay.
No, like you're thinking, right? And her tip was when you have this, you wake up in the middle of the night and you just can't turn off your mind. You literally get up out of bed. You can't do this in bed. Get up out of bed, have a journal by your bed, and go somewhere, whether it's the bathroom, downstairs. For me, it was the closet because It's right there.
Amy, come out of the closet.
I know.
It's 2024.
And I would just write down everything that came to my mind. Everything.
Kill Mike. No.
Clean the house. No, like really whatever it was. I mean, I remember, call this person, pick up dog poop, scoop the cat, fold the laundry.
Scoop the cat.
Scoop the cat litter.
Okay.
Like I'm just thinking of things. Like I remember it was some of the
So
things.
just some lists of things that were on your mind that you needed to do.
Yes.
And then did you feel like after you did that, what did you say? Thought dump? You were able to
Yes.
get back in bed and go to sleep?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I've done it numerous times, but I'm telling you, I had like 3 or 4 pages front to back. Like, what am I doing?
Well, that's just a whole other episode you need to talk to someone about, not just
Right?
Debbie. Debbie, could you let Amy know next time you see her wandering around your integrative medicine that she needs a referral to see someone else other than just the thought dump? Thanks, Debbie.
It was just crazy, like how many things would just come to my mind that were so stupid. And then as soon as I got that all off my mind, I went right to sleep, slept like a baby.
And Mike was like, thank God she's in the closet. I have
He
the
didn't
whole
even
bed.
know. He doesn't wake up at all. He had no idea.
Oh.
But I mean, I showed him later. I'm like, look at all this stuff that I wrote about. He goes, why are you thinking about this? I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so
Nice. And some people listen to music to go to sleep, lots of different things. They'll take some melatonin to help them sleep, or they'll talk to a sleep specialist.
Yeah.
Or someone in integrative medicine, like you said, for relaxation issues. Just a little side note. So I took a course, one of my, what is it, like special arts, humanities, whatever, in college. And one of them was meditation. And my friends and I had a course together. And we would lay in a room and then the teacher would put something on one of those, you're walking to the lake, blah, 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 blah. And I can remember the teacher saying, Ben. And I was like, yes. She's like, it's time to wake up. I had fallen asleep and was snoring on the floor. I got an A for that day because, girl, I was relaxed, let me tell you.
that was a class for college.
Yes, I got 1 credit for it.
Well, I did pottery, so that was my art class for college. It was great. That was
I didn't see any pottery things here at your house.
That was relaxing.
Well, yeah. So with patients, what do you do then when you see they're having issues with sleep? Do you, what do you do?
So we work on sleep hygiene, right?
Okay.
So some of these activities or ideas that we just discussed, talk about that. Give them maybe suggestions on some foods that may help with sleep, such as milk. Warm milk is helpful.
Oh, that's so gross.
Nuts, because they're a good source of magnesium.
Everybody loves a good nut. Get your mind out of the gutter, Amy. Write that in your journal when you wake up in the middle of the night.
I might. I just might. Rice, jasmine rice, which I just don't.
I love jasmine rice.
I don't like that at all.
But what do you mean? You just get up and eat a bowl of jasmine rice?
I mean, some people may already have that made, but I don't like it at all.
Oh, okay.
At all. Tart cherries is another one because it's rich in antioxidants and melatonin.
Oh, smart.
So, there's certain things that may help with inducing sleep, others better than other things. And then, of course, there's supplements, right? I mean, you already spoke about the melatonin, which is it's naturally
Your body
produced.
produces it, right?
Some people I know have reported that when they take melatonin, they may have weird dreams. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever heard people say that.
No, I've usually known the people that would take some of the more prescribed medications. I don't want to name anything in specific, but I will. You see on TV, the butterfly flies into the room. Those. So someone that I know who takes it, and then he sleep eats.
Oh, yeah. They cause
And so
sleep eating.
it's helping him sleep, but then he's getting up to eat. And I'm like, well, that's not, but I mean, not everybody,
No, that's a side effect for sure.
But I know chamomile tea, like patients will drink, or people will drink tea later in the evening, right? To relax or help them sleep. I think that's a big one. My mother-in-law likes chamomile tea. She always asks for that when she visits. And I'm like, no, we don't have that.
We don't have that.
No.
No.
Bring it with you.
Because chamomile, what it produces, it helps with people relax and improves.
Scents are always another thing too, right? Like lavender and things like that.
That's another thing integrative does.
Well, funny thing, when I first became a nurse, we learned some simple things to help the patient at the bedside. A hand massage with lotion, and the smell of lavender will help with relaxation. The smell of peppermint helps with nausea, as well as ginger, things like that.
Have you ever found that the scent of lavender helps you relax?
No.
No.
Girl, I can lay down and go to sleep. I am not that person.
Okay.
Not to say that people don't. I'm just saying myself.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have no
have a
issues.
problem going to sleep. Knock on wood when I say that, because now I'm going to go home tonight and be like, fuck, now I got to get up and write in that journal about some bullshit in the closet
this
because I
stupid
can't
thought
sleep and
dump.
smell this lavender. I'm already out of the closet since
Now
I
you
was
gotta go back
25. Now I
in.
got to get back in the closet with a journal. And then sitting in my closet, I couldn't write because I'd be like, I need to reorganize this. These shoes shouldn't all be here. I mean, that's where I would be when inside the closet.
OCD much?
No, I just need a bigger closet.
Okay.
No,
Squirrel?
no, that's not me.
I mean,
No, not that. I don't. When I focused on it, I focused on it. Mine is probably obsession that it's not done. Right?
yeah, right. No, for sure.
Yeah.
What about magnesium? Do you ever tell anyone, magnesium's helpful?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Have you found that to be helpful?
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's different types of magnesium, right? I mean, there's many different forms of magnesium.
Because some of that magnesium makes you poop, so that's not going to be helpful.
right, magnesium citrate.
Yeah. So that's not going to help you go to sleep.
No, you're going to get up in the middle of the night and have to, use the
Poop.
facilities.
Yeah. So I would be staying awake thinking to myself, oh my God, I just had that and I don't want to poop in the bed. But no, you're right.
So, magnesium glycinate is a good one. It's, you can absorb it. The body absorbs it better. But there's many different forms of magnesium. That's always confusing for people because, they'll see magnesium on the counter like, oh, I'll grab magnesium. But it could be magnesium oxide, which is not great. And then we have magnesium citrate, which makes you poop. And, so there's magnesium glycinate, there's threonate, there's, what's another one? There's malonate, I think. There's a few of them, but they're all specific for different things. But I usually say glycinate or the threonate is usually the ones that I talk about. And people like them. They do well with them. Don't use the citrate unless you're constipated.
Right.
Because that'll work
not
for that.
going to sleep with that.
No.
Correct.
But again, if we don't get our sleeping habits in order, then the risk for obesity increases substantially.
For sure.
So, finding ways to improve our sleep hygiene is key. And if I have any thought or inclination that someone may have sleep apnea, they go to sleep medicine. I send them there
for sure.
for a sleep evaluation. They decide if they need a sleep study. I mean, I would say 90% of patients I send to sleep medicine end up saying, oh, they have obstructive sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And they have to get treated for it. And even without doing a lot of other things, once they are treated for it, they start losing weight.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Sleep apnea, it affects more men. They're twice as likely to have sleep apnea than women are. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't know statistically, but I mean, yes, I figured that was the case.
17% of men as opposed to 90% of women in the age range of like 50 to 70 years old have moderate to severe sleep apnea.
Women?
Men.
Yeah, right.
17% of men versus only 9% of women.
Oh, 9. I think you said 90.
No, 90, no.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes total sense for sure.
But, I know in our consults, we always ask, do you feel fatigued, things like that. And those are commonplace things, but there are a few like things that are not common for patients that have sleep apnea. Like, for instance, like men, erectile dysfunction is a common thing for people for sleep apnea,
Absolutely.
The peeper's not working.
No, it's not. And the thing is, that goes hand in hand with obesity, which then goes hand in hand with lower testosterone. So again, we're talking about this domino effect
Yeah.
of how so many things correlate with having excess body weight.
Yeah.
So hence why it's important to, speak with an obesity specialist, because myself, I know you probably too, we really dive in deep, like, just asking these specific questions that maybe other clinicians may not have asked. And I know sometimes people look at me and they're like, why are you asking me this? But then in the end, they're like, no one's ever asked me this before. No one's ever tried to figure it out or treat it but again, I just don't want to put a Band-Aid on something. I have to figure out what is some of the major causes of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And sleep plays a big role in weight. And so, again, obesity is a chronic disease with arms that reach out in many comorbidities. And sometimes we have to tackle all of these other comorbidities in order to help with that obesity as well.
No, absolutely. And on I had a couple not free. I don't think anything's free in life, but there are a couple apps that I've used before to kind of help track your sleep. I had a list here. Okay. So, Better Sleep. I believe these are probably all in the App Store, Google Play, something like that. Sleepiest, Breathe with an E. Shut Eye Sleep Tracker is another one. These all have costs associated with them. Maybe you can find a free one.
Your Apple Watch
That yes, for sure.
track sleep.
Yeah, for sure. But that one's free, right?
Well, you had to buy the watch.
Well, yeah, true. Sleep Cycle's another one. So, I mean, there's definitely many apps out there to kind of help track what you're doing. And I feel like journaling's a big deal too, because sometimes people will have a bad day and they may not sleep well because they had a bad day. Or maybe they're anticipating a bad day before, when they go to sleep for the next day. So trying to figure that out and getting to the root cause is going to be like essential, right?
Yeah, speak to your provider about these things, whether it's your obesity specialist, your cardiologist, your primary care provider. Speak to them, and they can hopefully send you on to see a sleep specialist.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yep.
I hope this information was helpful, and please leave comments or concerns
Or questions.
We're
And
happy
Mike,
to answer.
where can people find us?
They can find us on theheavytruth.net, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and then follow us for our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcasts.
Awesome.
Wow. Thank you for that, Mike.
So helpful, Mike. Thank you. Was that on one of those lists? Yeah, that Amy made in the closet one night, or you already had that?
It was, and she put it in my hand, so I'd wake up in the morning and get it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
See?
helpful.
Good. There you go.
Productive.
Productive. Yeah, absolutely. Well, until next time, I'm Ben,
And I'm Amy.
and we're the Heavy,
Heavy
Truth.
Truth.
Sleep well, guys.